comes the thought, then the organization of that thought into ideas and plans, then transition of those plans into reality. The beginning, as you will observe, is your imagination. This quote was quoted by Napoleon Hill. The thoughts are very powerful. They become more powerful if they are mixed with definition of purpose, persistency, and the burning desire that is inside us. We must see our thoughts as if they are already been achieved. Then it will be very powerful. Just imagine that desire. If you go back to our young days, when we were kids, when a mother takes a child to a supermarket, he saw something that he really likes, and he doesn't care how much is the price. He just wants the thing. The desire of the child is so great. He will cry, he will roll on the floor until he gets the thing. That kind of desire must be inside us, whatever we want to achieve. So, thoughts are things. Thank you.
For the first time in my life as a Toastmaster for 9 years, I'm speechless. But this is also my admission that this is the first time I actually attended an opening ceremony. I've been to conferences since Miri, and I'm so overwhelmed by it all because it's not just me and the team, but it's for everybody, and it's nice to see everybody coming together under one roof from so many clubs, from so many countries. I am virtually speechless. So you're going to have another short speech, but I want to thank Toastmasters because organizing this conference has been a real revelation to see the good and the bad. But thankfully, like everything else, the good will always overcome the bad. Because here I discover friends. I discover friends I never knew I have. And friends whom I met just yesterday and today. And that is a great feeling because that's what Toastmasters is all about. We talk about servant leadership, we talk about serving Toastmasters, but many of us don't walk the talk. Every time I go back after a Toastmaster meeting, I ask myself, am I adding value to a Toastmasters meeting or event? And if I don't, I should just walk away because it's all about us serving one another, serving Toastmasters. And we do not look for recognition, we do not look for rewards. And I am overwhelmed because your presence here, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you chose to be here. I have no feelings to express because, like I said, I am a man of many words since I am a distinguished Toastmaster. But, I'm just overwhelmed. I just want to say again and again, thank you because your presence here means so much, not just to the team, not just to the district, but to all of us because it reminds us what a wonderful feeling, what a wonderful experience Toastmasters has given us. So continue that march because we are there. We are here for one another. Thank you.
A very good morning to everyone. District 51 and all our guests from other districts from around the world. I'm overwhelmed to see all of you here today, early in the morning, to listen to my speech. But I was given a buffer because I was told as a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, you don't talk much. Don't talk much. Thank God I'm not a DTM yet. So I can talk a lot. I told the organizing chair 15 minutes is not enough. No time limit, is it? Okay, anyway, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all of you to be here today to celebrate with us our silver anniversary annual conference. We've come a long way. We are seated here today because of many giants. I've always said this, many giants. And we are so happy and glad that most of the giants who have made District 51 possible today are seated in our midst. Let's give them a round of applause. When Toastmasters was introduced to me in 1998, I was an arrogant, stubborn young man. Don't laugh. Oh, see, you have your speech. Let me have my time, okay? I was a stubborn young man. I was thinking, Toastmasters, what's all this about? My English is so... Okay, cannot use... Can you use expletive? My English was so good. Why should I join Toastmasters? I was such a fool then. I finally joined 10 years later, 2008. And I realized Toastmasters is not just about English speaking. If you are a delegate for the first time in an annual conference, please don't miss the opportunity to speak to the many giants I mentioned to you. Giants who have traveled and done many things that you never thought was in Toastmasters. Talk to them. Ask them why. After 10, 20, 30, 40, any 40 years here in Toastmasters? I'm sure there is. Raise your hand, be recognized. Ask them, why are they in Toastmasters? What have Toastmasters given to them that they are still so passionate? Waking up 6 o'clock in the morning, having breakfast, just to come here to rehearse how to walk in. Ask them. Something must be in Toastmasters to cause them to do this. As for me, I realized Toastmasters is not about me. It's about the people and the lives that can be influenced by the words I speak, by the actions I do, by the leadership I take. And when I can influence an individual to be a better man, a better woman, and I can influence them to do something that they may not need or thought about doing, and they do it, that is my pride, that is my joy, that is my payback. Toastmasters don't pay me a single cent in salary. For those who are new, you think, wow, this district director 30,000 a month, and then perks, travel around the world twice a year holiday around the world. No, Toastmasters don't pay us a salary. We do it because of you. You as members is the most important thing in the leadership lives and passion. That's why we do what we do today. All that aside, my urge, my request, my humble request. Sorry, Tani, where are you? I use your favorite word. My humble request is for you to enjoy yourself, have a good time, and have fun. In 2018 District 51 Annual Conference, back to you.
Organizing Chair, Victor. District Director, Andrew Tan. The District Exco of District 51. Past International President, Johnny Wee, DTM. Past International Directors. Past and present region advisors, my fellow past district governors, fellow Toastmasters, very good morning. I've been given the privilege to present to you the history of District 51. I hope with this presentation, I heard just now Andrew mention there are some new Toastmasters, and new, I guess, it means maybe 3 years, 4 years in the organization. But we have been around. If you look at the banner, some clubs or one club is 40 years old. But we were not districted yet during that time. So I will only start from the point when we began to organize ourselves. And here goes. Oops. I need some help here. Some technical problem. Anyway, just now Andrew says whether anybody 40 years old, I guess he didn't see any hands. I joined Toastmasters on 27 April 1983. Oh, because I'm a slow learner, that's why. So I need that span of time, you know, in order to catch up. Okay, this is how it all started, and most of you would know. Our founder, Dr. Ralph Smedley, way back in 1924, in Santa Ana, California, YMCA, Toastmasters Club. And still around. That club is still around, mind you. And this is how we started, at Raintree Club, Kuala Lumpur, where we had the first discussion to organize ourselves into a Council of Toastmasters, a pro tem council. And Jimmy Koo, the late Jimmy Koo, he was the key person. He was from Taipan Toastmasters, small town, and yet he was the spark that started it all. And after that, our late Papa Gerald Green, which many of you would know, went to USA from Pulau Pinang, that's where he hailed from, and that's where I came from, and met Terence McCann, the then executive director, who has also passed on. And I believe Terence and Gerald is looking down at us today, smiling away to see all of you here. And Terence McCann gave the mandate to Papa Gerald to start the Territorial Council of Toastmasters. Comprising, he asked him to get together the regional countries, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Indonesia. Papa Gerald is second from the right, extreme right is Terence McCann, and the other two persons are the senior managers in TI during that time. And so he came back and we started the Pan-Sea Territorial Council, comprising the 4 countries. This is the first Pan-Sea Southeast Asia convention held in Kuala Lumpur in the Saujana. Muhammad, are you around? Yeah, he is the man who organized that particular convention. And we formed the first Territorial Council Committee, headed by Papa Gerald Green. So Papa Gerald Green was our Territorial Council chairperson, 1990 to 92, because we started at the end of 1990. And then followed by Dr. Fu Se Wei from Singapore, this is the second Pan-Sea meeting. And the next step, we were granted 51P title, which means now you're a district, no more territorial council, but provisional. Provisional means I give you time. TI say I give you time to build up. All right? But let me tell you, when we started this, we had the potential to be the largest district in the world. And it happened. This was the first 51P convention held in Kota Kinabalu. And the OC, which set a standard at that time, was Dato Adeline. Dato Adeline, this is the installation. Leo Wei is the one with the head bending down. She's checking her shoes before she stepped forward to make her speech. So the first district governor was Kevin Ong from Singapore, followed by Leo Wei, DTM, and then again Singapore, our international director, or past international director, as well as the third District 51P governor, Augustine from Singapore. And Augustine is a very special person. He makes it a point to attend every district convention. Can you beat that? So from there, another change happened. From 1993, we were District 51P, and we came. On 1st of July, 1996, we achieved full district status and became the largest district in the world. First district governor, 1996-97, Dunstan Chan. This was followed by, Dunstan Chan is from, I think Sarawak. Yeah, he's from Sarawak. Huh? Then SLU, he's from Penang, district governor. Oh, when Dunstan Chan became the district governor, we became the number 2 President Distinguished District in the world. And once he started that, we didn't look back. All these people you see on the screen all achieved President's Distinguished District, and Dato Adeline Leong started even a bigger explosive result. We became number 1 under District Governor Dato Adeline Leong. From then onwards, everyone had a very high standard to follow, and follow they did. Our international director, 2003-05, District Governor Ibu Maimuna. She's fondly known as Ibu Maimuna. Unfortunately, she's unable to be with us. She's currently in Hawaii. She also got number 1. District Governor Christopher Teoh, Singapore, also number 1. District Governor, the late Lilian Lau, also number 1. Then we have our first international president from our district. And he was also the past international director and district governor, Dr. John Lau. And then this was followed by, of course, they're all president distinguished, all right? Number 1, yeah. But I didn't keep count later, okay? They are all number 1. We were 5 times number 1 in the row. All right, in the world, yes. And then we have our past region advisor and district governor, Ho Fong Meng, distinguished Toastmaster, followed by also region advisor, past region advisor, 201112, He was the district governor in 2004-05. Dr. Arul is unable to be with us today. And something else happened after that. There's another reformation, and we gave birth to District 80. At that time, District 80, we had 7 countries at District 51. So now 4 countries went over. Just now we saw the flags, Macau, Hong Kong. Right, that's why the flags are there. Because District 80 became Singapore, Thailand, Hong Kong, and Macau. So that leaves, in District 51, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. Then District Governor, 2005 to 06, we have DTM Lau Yat Siao. Followed by District Governor Sivayanam. He's unable to be with us today, but you see him tonight. And followed by myself. Yeah, we were also President's Distinguished during the year. Then followed by Joseph Gomez, who is also our past international director. And then we had our young, handsome, energetic District Governor, Richie Chong, Distinguished Toastmaster. And then we have our simply humble District Region Advisor, past Region Advisor, and District Governor for the year 201011. Again, another change in 2010. Another baby was born, District 87. And you see, all these leaders are sitting on my left. And Sabah, Sarawak, Indonesia, and Brunei came under District 87. And that leaves Peninsular Malaysia as District 51. So we have 2 babies already. Our current region advisor, District Governor Su Chan, Distinguished Toastmaster. This was followed by District Governor for 2012-13, Distinguished Toastmaster Ramdas Nair. And then we have our vivacious and charming District Governor for 2013-14, Kiang Pang Peng. Leading star performance, that was her team. And another first for our district. The first time Toastmasters International held a convention, an international convention outside USA and Canada in KLCC in August 20th to 23rd, 2014. Who were there? Almost 40% of the room. Very good. Then during that time, we had District Governor Wendy Wong, DTM, who's also unable to be with us. But I believe she will be coming in tomorrow. And then we have our lovable District Governor, 2015-16, Su Ding, DTM. And then we come to District Governor 2016-17. Oh, sorry. Su Ding was already District Director. There was a name change for the leadership. So continued by District Director 2016-17, Johnson Tang. a very quiet person. I know him personally because he's also from Penang. Very quiet person, but effective. Another change. 2007, what happened? Another baby. Very busy, District 51. We had 102. So now the peninsula separated. Central and South was District 102. I believe their convention is sometime next week. Next month. All right, next month. And now leaves us with North and Central. Peninsula, Malaysia. And currently, our District Director, Andrew Tan. So all the district leaders are covered. So now I give you an overview of the timeline so you get the big picture. So we started in 1990 as a territorial council. And then 93 we got District 51P status and became a full-fledged district 1996 under the careful leadership and powerful leadership of Dunstan Chan. And then the baby came out, District 80, 2004, all right? Dunstan gave birth to a baby. No, not during his time. And then District 87, 2010, second baby. And now, the second line baby from District 80 in 2010, District 85, Hong Kong and Macau moved out of District 80 and realign with China, Southern China, all right? And then 2 years later, they again got realigned, District 85 or 89. I must check my glasses. District 89. Right? I put a dotted line because it was not a new district. It's not like they gave off a new district. They just got themselves realigned. It wasn't a reformation. And I talked to Matt Steele from Hong Kong, and he says he expects themselves to be a separate district very soon. And because China is growing very, very, very fast. Very fast. District 80, separate again. Thailand move off to have now 5 countries, District 97P. What were the 5 countries? Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam. What's the last one? Cambodia. So all on the coastline, if you notice, join with Thailand, and they are District 97P. Up to today, they're still 97P. They haven't got the full district yet. And then the third baby from District 51 came out, 102 last year, 2017. So here we have our timeline until today. What have happened? What did we achieve? So this is our scoreboard. We are now having 12 countries because of District 51. And we are covering, we have now got 6 districts. From the Territorial Council, since then, 1990, today, we have 6 districts. And we cover 880 clubs with a membership of 15,150 members. Who would have thought about that in 1990, or the Pro Tem Council when we met at Raintree Club, that this was possible? And I'm sure in a couple of years, it'll probably be 30,000 members. I believe this will happen. And people ask me, somebody has asked me, how much money did we pay international with all this? 5 to 6 million ringgit every year from the 15,000 members. So if you talk about financial report or progress, we did tremendously well, tremendously. And of course, we mentioned just now about the President Distinguished Achievements. in the last 25 years, or 22 years rather, because in District 51P, you are not counted, but from Dunstan's time, all right, we have achieved 17 times President Distinguished, Select Distinguished, as well as Distinguished status. 17 times, which is 78 point something %. Very good achievement. In school, you probably round it up, you get 80, right? And that's an A. Yeah. Well, I would like to end with our founder's quote. And someone has mentioned that too in the earlier speeches, that we're not here just to learn how to speak. But that was the reason why we joined Toastmasters. While most of us may have entered Toastmasters to learn to make speeches, that benefit is but the beginning of the good which may come to us and the good which we may do for mankind. Before I leave the stage, can I have all the past district leaders to stand up and be recognized, including those from other districts? District 80, District 87. If you are here, please stand to be recognized. It's because of you. That's what we have today. Thank you. Thank you. And with that, I take leave of the stage. Thank you for listening. You have been a wonderful audience. Have a blessed soaring life.
My humble apologies because, as you know, I'm not a distinguished Toastmaster yet. Well, I've got disclaimer so early already. So I make a lot of errors as we move along, and we know that Toastmasters allow us to learn, and you are all very forgiving, am I right? Thank you. I was supposed to do an important part during our opening ceremony, that is to hear from our international president, and I totally missed that out. So my humble apologies. I'd like to request Teo Chu Meng, Advanced Communicator Bronze, to help me with the videos. First and foremost, the message for us here from International President, all distinguished Toastmasters, International President Baraj
District
Arunasalam.
51. Congratulations to you as you have reached an important milestone in your Toastmasters journey. What a journey. Your 25th anniversary today. Silver Jubilee celebrations. You have stayed in the program for 25 years and got the best out of the Toastmasters program. You are one of the best and the first to get the Pathways rollout. As you have been already in the Pathways program, I'm sure you have discovered the hidden gems of the Toastmasters program. As you have persisted for the last 25 years, I'm sure you will continue to see the Golden Jubilee in a time that will be even more exciting for Toastmasters. I wish you all the best in your celebrations as you have reached this milestone of your 25th anniversary. I congratulate you. I wish you enjoy your journey in Toastmasters.
Thank you. Next, we would like to hear the International President-elect, the Golden Girl herself, Lark Doley.
Happy 25th anniversary, District 51. Okay.
Short and sweet. And finally, our
Happy 25th anniversary, District 51. All the very best.
everything is fated. When I joined Toastmasters, the year 2008, the current district governor then, I just found out today, was Chee. I didn't know him, he didn't know me. To us then, back in Division A, Johor Bahru, district governor is so high and mighty, they are so far away, we couldn't touch them at all. Right? But it's not true. After the years, we have this opportunity to stand here today. I have this opportunity to stand here. And now we would like to say this to everyone, members who are less than half a year here. How many of you, I didn't see the hands, you were asked just now, half a year here? In Toastmasters, less than 1 year, less than 3 years? In 25 years, when we celebrate District 51 Golden Anniversary, perhaps one of you seated here may be District 51 District Director. Never rule that out. Yes? Hopefully I'm still around, but now we'd like to recognize the next person who is very dear to many of us who know him personally. That is our Gerald Green, Distinguished Toastmaster, accredited speaker. And I would like to invite, representing his family, Roger and Esther, his wife, to be perhaps in front here, just for this moment. Roger Green is Gerald's son, eldest son, right? I've shared a bit along the last 2 days or so of what Gerald Green has done for us. Past District Governor Chee has also shared the history and also mentioned about Gerald Green. Some of us who know him personally over the years was inspired by his simple and humble attitude and nature. And I love what he shared with us, what he shared with me personally. And I'm also taking parts of what he shared with many of you here today. Words sometimes were spoken to some of you, and you shared that with me. One of them is, when given a choice, if you have to choose between being right and being kind, always choose being kind, and you will always be right. You don't have to be correct, but just be kind to the person, and you are always right. That's Gerald Green. Gerald is one of the iconic Toastmasters from 51. Why? Before Vancouver 2017, he was the only accredited speaker out of US and Canada. Only recently, I believe it was in Vancouver, there was another person from Great Britain being the second accredited speaker out of US and Canada. What is this accredited speaker? Let me just talk about Distinguished Toastmaster. The title of Distinguished Toastmaster is representing only, how many percent? Not even 1%, I think it's 0.1% of Toastmasters in the world. What about accredited speaker? Accredited speaker, there are only less than 90 persons in the world. Those who are with us and those who have moved on, like the late Papa Gerald Green. Less than 90 individuals throughout the years since 1924, when Toastmasters was started by Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. 90 individuals. And we had one in Papa Gerald Green. And I also like to share with you this. Fortunately, I wore the right pants today. Excuse me for a while. Many things I learned from Papa Gerald. The part of losing weight is not one of them. What I had so difficult to bring out of my pocket is this little thing. Roger will know what is this. The rest of you, can I see a show of hands? How many of you here have received this from Papa Gerald? Stand up. Stand up, stand up. Wow. Give them a round of applause. Thank you. This funny looking thing, I don't know where he got this, but anyway, he has a lot of them. He shared with me, and he says, this is a gratitude stone. Gratitude. Sorry, pronunciation not so good. Gratitude. And if you have heard his speeches, many times he will start off by saying a famous phrase by Gerald Green. Let me start off with gratitude. Many of you have heard before. And this stone reminds me of the gratitude I have to this amazing gentleman for what he has done, how he has influenced me, and the many lives that he has changed in the midst of Toastmasters and beyond. And I believe when you have such a character within you, the aura that you have will influence the people around you. And we have seen this. Many people have come out from his leadership. And I'd like to make special mention, just in case you don't know. Currently in Malaysia, we have one young, tall gentleman with a bit of a long hair, not as short as my longer hair, who happens to be the #1 golfer representing Malaysia. And guess what's his name? Gavin Green. Gigi. Grandson of Gerald Green. And he's doing amazing things. He has won many competitions around the world. And Gerald is so proud of him, always mentioning what he has done. But, sorry, I shouldn't use but. Punish myself later. There is one word I will avoid this year. Gerald is so proud of him for what he has done. Gerald is so proud of many people who have rise up, taking the leadership steps in Toastmasters. And I believe, as we share this in tribute of Gerald, I believe he's up there looking at us, smiling, proud that Roger and Esther is here with us. Regretfully, Daphne Green, his wife, is not with us today. But I want to make special mention to Daphne Green as well. It's because of this lady behind him. They always say that behind every successful man there's a woman. I would prefer behind every successful man there's a lady. So this lady is Daphne Green. Why do I say this? Because Daphne allowed Gerald to do what he did. That was so nice and so big-hearted of her, allowing him to travel to the US, allowing him to be taken away by so many of us for conference, for conventions, for speeches, for this and that, taking away his time from her. So I want to make special mention to Daphne. Can you please mention to your mom about this? We are really appreciative of her big heart for the allowance of giving Gerald to us. Thank you very much. I have introduced my wife to Daphne about 3 years ago, but I still don't see any changes. So I'm praying very hard. I'm praying very hard when I do move back to Johor Bahru. You see, all things works for good. I thank God that God is so kind to me. He allowed me to move to Kuala Lumpur for my career, And I'm a bachelor here. I'm a bachelor here because my wife, my children, they are all in JB. So at 7 o'clock in the evening, my wife won't call me and say, Andrew, are you coming back for dinner? Because that, no use to us. I'm somewhere in KL in a meeting or something. But that aside, okay, it's not about me. It's about Gerald. Sorry about that. I really want to conclude this by saying that Gerald has touched many of our lives. We are here not to mourn over the loss. Yes, we are sad that he has departed from us, but we are here to celebrate the life of Gerald Green, of what he has done for our district, for people who are so blessed by his presence, and we want to thank him from District 51 and from the rest of the world. Thank you, Papa Gerald Green. We know that you are proud of us, and we are definitely proud of who you are and what you have done. I thank you right now, and I pray that your family will continue to be blessed because of the path that you have opened for so many of us. Thank you, Gerald.
How many of you have never heard me speak before? And how many of you are listening to me for the first time today? Who raised their hands once? Who raised their hands twice? Who would rather be somewhere else? Just last night, someone asked me, are you from Singapore? I said, no, I'm from the Philippines. I'm a past international president. And I'll be delivering a speech tomorrow. And he looked at me, and without batting an eyelash, he said, I'm going shopping tomorrow. Mr. District Director, past district officers, past leaders, incumbent officers, fellow Toastmasters, friends, and those who would rather be shopping. Good morning. I'm very honored to be invited to speak at your Silver Jubilee Convention. You know, the first time I ever spoke outside of the Philippines was in Penang, District 51 Convention in 1995. And I have been back to District 51 so many times over the next few years that I actually got a plaque that certified me as a friend of District 51. But now, I wouldn't be surprised if nobody knows me anymore. After all, I haven't been to District 51 since Richie Chong was governor back in 2010. Oh, I've been to Surabaya and Kuching recently, but they're in District 87 now. That's why I did not ask for a show of hands on how many people have heard me speak before, because I was afraid only the old people will raise their hands. Don't worry, Lucky, I'm just as old as you. Well, maybe not. Well, earlier this year, Yo Cheng Lim gave my name to Victor Ong as a possible speaker for your convention. And Victor asked Yo, Johnny Uy, I don't know him. Is he any good? And Yo answered, he's from the Philippines, so it's cheap to fly him over. That's like asking a friend, was your blind date yesterday beautiful? And he answers, she's a great conversationalist. Then you follow up, okay, but is she beautiful? And he says, she's also very intelligent. I just want to know if she's beautiful. I think she's a Toastmaster. So Victor sends me a WhatsApp message inviting me to be your keynote speaker this morning. And then he asked, you're a past international president? Is this for Toastmasters? I wondered if he would have withdrawn his invitation if I had said, I'm past international president for the Dog Lovers International. So I thought, maybe I should reintroduce myself to District 51 so the new members can get to know me better. And I happen to have my original icebreaker. Would you like to hear it? Well, good thing you said yes, otherwise the speech is over. When I joined Toastmasters, we were just entering contest season, and I was told that as president of my new club, I had to participate if no one else will. Does that sound familiar? So I entered the humorous speech contest back in 1990. How many were not yet born in 1990? Augustine, you were born already. I know you have different ways of doing your humorous speech contest here, but back in those days in the Philippines, self-deprecating humor was the only way to go. So it wasn't a surprise that I lost. After all, I'm not ugly enough. Everyone was talking about their lack of hair, their being too short, too fat, too tall, too thin. Everyone had some sort of defect. Sometimes I wondered if I was the only normal-looking Toastmaster around. But my wife does not agree. That's because she doesn't realize that when I married her, I disappointed a lot of women. Now, I'm concentrating on disappointing only one. It still bothers her that I did not become a doctor, specifically a plastic surgeon. No, don't get me wrong. My wife, Irene, is a very lovely woman. She gets her looks from her father. He's the plastic surgeon. It still kind of bothers her that, well, wait, I told Irene that the only thing that kept me from becoming a doctor was medical school. Back when I was in school, my motto was, smile. Tomorrow will be worse. I mean, I flunked everything except accounting. I did not take accounting. I was the only person to ever campaign for class president. I wasn't even opposed, and I lost. When the teacher found out that I was unopposed, she canceled the elections and appointed somebody else to be class president. During the entrance exam for medical school, 7 of the professors began ganging up on me, even before I could finish the test. It's a true story. They threatened me with failure, even bodily harm if I dared to take up medicine. I thought they were just worried about the competition after I become a doctor. Besides, I was giving the answers to the test orally, and it was a written exam. So I gave up my medical dreams and joined the family business, which was another mistake. Can you imagine being the youngest and having to take orders from 5 older brothers and sisters? Here, take over for me. I have something else to do. No. Do my work first. I have an errand to run. You can do that after you finish doing this. Pretty soon, I was doing all the work while my brothers and sisters went to the movies. So I thought I'd take up Taekwondo so no one can push me around. Taekwondo is the Korean martial art of kicking and shouting. That means after your opponent kicks you, you shout in pain. But I never got very far with Taekwondo because every time I entered a competition, I would get a sore throat and couldn't shout. Then I thought I'd join clubs, all sorts of clubs. I thought to myself, maybe I can become president and give orders for a change. And would you believe my Lions Club elected me president? The members said, the job is so simple, any clown can be president. And they all pointed at me and said, let this clown be the president. I tried to do a good job as Lions Club president, but I was always outvoted by the members. Every time I would request for funds for a project, they would all shout, we have no money. Drug awareness project, no money. Diabetes detection project, no money. Free medical clinic, no money. Karaoke, I think we've got a few bucks. After my term as Lions Club president, I kind of wandered around in limbo, wondering what could possibly be next. Well, to paraphrase an old saying, into each life, a Toastmasters Club must fall. And so I found myself in Toastmasters. And today, Toastmasters are my best friends. That just shows how bad things are. Seriously, Toastmasters is simply amazing. It has taught me to laugh at myself, to enjoy the company of friends, and to learn a thing or two along the way. From listening to my icebreaker, you know I had a lot of problems growing up, and even after I had grown up. But Toastmasters changed all that. Toastmasters has developed my self-confidence such that before I joined Toastmasters, I was so shy, I couldn't lead a group of people in silent prayer. Today, every time I talk, everybody prays that I stop talking. Isn't that simply amazing? How many are praying now? Pray harder. I'm just getting started. Self-confidence. Isn't that what we developed from our Toastmasters experience? To me, that is the one thing that separates the ordinary person from the simply amazing Toastmasters. Over the years, I have observed that the outstanding ones are always confident of their skills and their abilities. Not arrogant and obnoxious, but self-assured and ready to take on any challenge before them. Are you one of them? That's how you succeed. That's why you succeed. You've got to believe in yourselves. But more importantly, you must never compare yourselves with others. You see, the one thing that is keeping many people from becoming simply amazing is his or her own lack of self-confidence. We keep on hearing excuses like, how can I be a good speaker when I can't even deliver my icebreaker? How can I become a good leader if I can't even say 2 sentences without uttering any ahs? And here's my favorite excuse. How can I possibly make it when there are so many others who are far better than I am? So many others far better than you are? So what? We are in Toastmasters to improve ourselves, not to be better than others. There is a quote from that very prolific writer of quotes named Anonymous. Who said, remember, there is no comparison between the sun and the moon. They each shine when it is their time. I have never met a Toastmaster who has never been terrified about having to speak up in front of a group of people. I have never met a Toastmaster who has never been at a loss for words while taking on a leadership challenge. And yes, I have never met a Toastmaster who has never bowed his head low, as if in prayer, during table topics. And yet, despite all that, anyone can become more confident, better speakers, and better leaders. And to do that, it's very important for you and I, for all of us, to be ignorant. Yes, you heard me. I said, be ignorant. Let me tell you a story that best illustrates this point. I mentioned earlier that I had practiced Taekwondo when I was younger. I was part of my hometown Cebu's team that participated in the Philippine National Taekwondo Championships. During the fight for the bronze medal, my team was tied with another team and a tie-breaking match had to be fought. As the team captain, I volunteered to fight the match, but the coach refused for 2 very good reasons. First, I knew that the opponent from the other team is a member of the Philippine national team who had just come home from Korea, where he won the silver medal in the World Taekwondo Championships. That knowledge alone will certainly intimidate me into losing. After all, in Taekwondo, when your opponent beats you, he really beats you up. And second, as my coach said to me, Johnny, you're a brave man, but you're lousy in Taekwondo. So we fielded a man named Danny. Now, Danny was big, and Danny was strong, and Danny did not know the reputation of his opponent. The result was labeled as one of the biggest upsets in Philippine Taekwondo history because Danny easily beat his opponent and won the medal for our team. That night, Danny told me that if he had known of his opponent's credentials, he would have been awed and terrified and would not have been as aggressive and would therefore not have won. And that night, I learned a lesson that I have since been able to apply as a Toastmaster. Be ignorant of other people's skills and reputations because you are not them and they are not you. There is a story of a father who berated his son for getting poor grades in school. He said, "Son, why can't you be like John F. Kennedy? When he was your age, he was already writing essays." And the son answered, "Dad, when John F. Kennedy was your age, he was shot in Dallas." See what happens when you begin comparing yourselves with others? It is when you begin to compare yourselves with others that you begin to doubt yourselves. That is when you lock yourselves up, leaving your message, your ideas deep inside of you, unable to come out. It is then that you fail to be your best, to become simply amazing. Many years ago, the Club of the Year for District 75 was a brand new club. When accepting the award, the president said, "I didn't know we were doing more than the others. I just saw in our manuals that we had to deliver speeches and recruit new members, and so we did." Being new and therefore ignorant, she actually did more for her members and her clubs than most of the more experienced Toastmasters around the district. Let us harness our full potential in Toastmasters. Deliver your speeches, do your pathways projects, take on leadership roles. Earn your CCs, your ACs, your pathways levels, and your leadership norms. They're not for your district director or for your district. They're for you, to make you more confident, more eloquent, and more effective a leader. And then, go out and sell the world with what you have. Yourselves, the things you stand for. Help others attain their full potential. Become coaches and mentors. Bring more people into Toastmasters. Help build more clubs. Again, they're not for your district director or for your district. They're for our communities and our world. Can you imagine how much more progressive our communities will be if all our people were more self-confident? Can you imagine how much more peaceful our world will be if people learn to communicate better with each other? I have two stories that will better illustrate my message to you this morning. The first story is an old story that I have told many times before. It is a story of Old Spindletop. Old Spindletop was a name of the single biggest oil strike in the United States. About 100 years ago, a farmer in Texas was having problems with his land and his crop. Nothing would grow. He was about to go bankrupt when an oil company came knocking at his door and said they have reason to believe that under his farm is a large deposit of oil. They offered to drill for oil on his farm and to give him a royalty for every barrel of oil that they extract from it. So they agreed, and the oil company started drilling. After a few dry wells and failed attempts, they came across a well they called Old Spindletop. There was a lot of pressure in that well, and they expected a lot from it. Now, in the oil business, there are two ways to determine if an oil find is going to be productive. First is what the initial gush of oil does to that rig, that Eiffel Tower-like structure on top of the well. If it just shakes it a little, then it's not going to be productive. But if the initial flow of oil knocks the rig over, then it's a big one. Second is to measure the amount of oil that is wasted from the time the oil first shoots up until the time the crew is able to get there and cap that well. On Old Spindletop, the initial gush of oil totally disintegrated that rig. It hit it like a bomb. On some of these wells, they lose 10,000, 20,000 barrels of oil just trying to cap it. On Old Spindletop, they lost 180,000 barrels of oil just trying to get it capped. It was one big oil strike. Now, would you all agree with me if I said that the farmer who owned the land became an instant millionaire? An instant millionaire. Well, the answer is no. The farmer wasn't an instant millionaire. He was always a millionaire. That oil was down there the day he bought the land. He just didn't go down to get it. In many ways, we are all Old Spindletops. We've got enough talent to do anything we want. We've got more than enough, but we're not seeing it. We don't know the oil is there. And sometimes, even if we do, we're not reaching down to get it. You've got to believe that you have got worth. There is magic in each and every one of you. The magic of belief, of self-confidence, of being an improved human being. Let your Toastmasters experience help you bring out that oil. Meeting after meeting, speech after speech, leadership role after leadership role. Let your Toastmasters Club help you become simply amazing old spindle tops. Okay, one more story and then I'll end because someone has been praying really hard. Many years ago, a chief executive of a major insurance company in Chicago was in a plane and he met a young man. And after having a conversation with him, he offered this young man a job selling insurance policies. The young man said, I don't know anything about selling insurance. And the CEO, named Mr. Stone, said, oh, not to worry. We have a 2-week course that will teach you everything you need to know about insurance. After that, come and see me. I'll refer 7 names to you to make insurance calls on every day. Now, I don't know how many of you are in the insurance business, but if a multi-millionaire CEO of a major insurance company referred 7 names to me to sell insurance to, I will ask somebody else to finish this speech and I'll be going out there after them. It's a sure thing, a done deal, a guaranteed sale. After 2 weeks, this young man went to Mr. Stone's office, hoping against hope that Mr. Stone would remember his promise to refer 7 names to him to sell insurance to. Mr. Stone not only gave him 7 names, he gave him their addresses and phone numbers as well. It was like stealing candy from a baby. And it was. Every day, Mr. Stone gave him 7 names, addresses, and phone numbers. And every day he went out to sell insurance to them. And every day he would sell 1, maybe 2 policies. Now, for those of you who are in insurance sales, you will agree that that's very good, right? Well, one day, there was sort of a crisis in the office that required a management meeting. So when the young man came to Mr. Stone's office, he said, I'm very busy today. Why don't you get the names from the same source I've been getting them from? And he handed the man a telephone directory. Mr. Stone did not know any of those people he gave to the young insurance salesman, but he thought they were all friends of Mr. Stone. He was ignorant. That's why he was so successful in selling them insurance policies. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you have the magic. It's all in your mind. I've been told that the human mind is the fastest working, coolest running, most efficient and compact computer mechanism ever created in great quantities by unskilled labor. You have everything you need between your ears. Believe in the magic. And don't compare yourselves with others. Instead, compare yourselves with your own selves. What are you doing today that is making you better than you were yesterday? What will you do tomorrow that will make you better than you are today? Ask yourselves these 2 questions every day. Believe in the magic within you, and I guarantee you will achieve. The reason I have stuck it out with Toastmasters after all these years is because despite all the debacles in my life, I have finally found a home. A place that lets me dream my dreams. An organization that has changed my life. And a program that allows me to find my voice as I now serve my world of Toastmasters. It is simply amazing. You are all simply amazing.